What's your reporting on Ryan Day's seat? The Buckeye fans that I know, they've gone through many stages of grief right now, and it started with severe anger with Ryan Day. Is he coaching for his job in these playoffs, Bruce?
I don't think he is. I don't know how you fire him. He's 66-10, right? They can't, even 2 years ago when they lost at home, they, came within a field goal to beating Georgia. And if they in the playoff game, if they make that, they're playing TCU and they're beating, they're going to win a national title. But that didn't happen. And now they're going into the playoff, licking their wounds, of this as they, we'll see who they're going to get matched up with. They would have to win 3 games. They're plenty talented. I mean, I would argue, and I wrote this, the other day for The Athletic, I think they're the most talented team in the country, top to bottom. It's just right now, they're not playing well. They're coming off, there's going to be a lot of soul searching. They won't play Michigan. They won't have to to face them again this year, but they will face good teams. What kind of shape are they going to be in emotionally? My biggest point of this is not whether Ohio State still wants Ryan Day, because just from people I know who've talked to the new AD there, Ross Bjork, I don't think he wants any part of going through a coaching search right now. He just got there. I don't think that to do something like that. So look, barring them winning the national title and winning the playoff, which wouldn't totally shock me because, like I said, everybody has a lot of flaws. There's no like 2019 LSU team or one of those Georgia teams that won the national title. All these teams are very suspect, and they're as talented as anybody. But barring them winning it all, I think the issue is going to come back to Ryan Day at some point doing some evaluation of just his everything around him with his family. And from everything I've heard, it has been a really, really tough time for them in dealing with a lot of what they've been dealing with the last couple of years. And that was before Saturday. I think it's only going to get worse after losing because the teams they lost to before, like last year, they lost to a team that won the national title. The year before that, they lost to a playoff team. This team they lost to was the worst Michigan team they faced since the early Rich Rod days. It's not a good team. They're terrible on offense. They just fired the offensive coordinator yesterday. I mean, they were banged up in the secondary. Yeah, the D line's really good, but it was not like this was not a great team, and they lost to them, and they were at home, and they spent $20 million on guys in the portal for this year. So I think that's the part where he sits there and look, we know from, Ryan Day being very candid about his own, life story and some of the things that he and his family had to deal with. And I think he has a great awareness of the importance of mental health. And I wonder if when he sits down after the season and thinks, do I want to keep doing this here? Is this the best thing for me and my family? I think those are going to be, I think that to me, that's like a different question than is Ohio State ready to move on from him, whether, Mike Vrabel wants to be a college coach and come home. I just don't think there's beyond Mike Vrabel. I don't think there's really easy answers to say, oh yeah, somebody's going to come in here and do better than Ryan Day has done. It's not easy. It's not an easy needle to thread there.
No, certainly when you're 66-10, but not to put you in a position here, and then we'll get to the college football playoff. Again, Buckeye fans that I speak to wonder about the guy who was smirking at Charles on your set during the pregame show to his left, as Charles was even had the temerity to suggest in this horseshoe that Michigan could come out with the win. What about Urban coming back? Urban 2.0 in Ohio State, Bruce?
Not to speak for Urban, because obviously I work with him at Fox, but I'd be very surprised. What Urban left and when he left is a very different version of college football than it is now. There's NIL, there's a transfer portal, there's revenue sharing coming down. There's a lot of stuff going on. And Urban, I just don't see him either being ready to deal with all that other stuff when it comes to roster management and everything else in the new version of college football. even if he wanted to, I think anybody who's really hands-on in it, and look, some of the people he's still close to, one of his proteges, Kyle Whittingham, terrific coach at Utah, but has really struggled in the last, especially this year. I mean, I think a lot of the guys he knows, it's like, I think they're looking, on the getting out of it, much less diving back into it. I think people romanticizing 7-0 in his record versus Michigan. Obviously I know he's super proud of that, but I just personally, my own impression of him and what, how he'd have to dive into college football in a way that I don't see that. I don't think that's realistic at all. I think that's wishful thinking on the hands of a couple of, Michigan fans right now who are very frustrated.
Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku Channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.